Hello, good afternoon and welcome. Nice seeing you all. We will have a good discussion within this room. We have very important people sitting here telling you about mental well-being and how to manage it. So we'll just start out with a presentation of each of them. And as you can see, we have speakers from all over the world, actually. You can just keep the light on, otherwise it's going to be too dark, I think. Light on, a little light on. That's probably a very good idea here after lunch. Do you see the slides? Is it okay now? Great. What I was saying is that we have people actually in the panel from all over the world. We have Pernille and I from Human House in Denmark. We have Ralf Franke you're from Germany, but Siemens, as you represent and will in a minute, is a global company. We have Novo Nordisk with Thomas-san, Masako-san, Kanako-san. Is it right pronounced? Whoa. Sitting over here, and then Bonnie Yao from Hong Kong. And I'll just ask you to, you see, this is the program for today. We're starting now, and the first one to speak is Pernille. And can you, maybe I should tell you who I am. I'm Stine Moesmand from Human House, Vice President and psychologist there, work with psychosocial work environment and has done that for the last 15 years. And Pernille is my colleague, and she's the first one presenting. So can you say a little bit about what you're going to say? Just a few words.
About what I'm going to
you
say?
And present. Yeah.
I just see, do I need this one? Yeah, maybe I do. So welcome to you all. My name is Pernille Tau. I'm Vice President in Human House. I'm responsible for our international activities with companies and organizations on safety, health, and well-being. And I will be talking about the Vision Zero mindset, which is a mindset of prevention that we can apply also to well-being and the psychosocial working environment. Mm-hmm.
And the next one who's going to talk is Ralf Franke from Siemens. Can you present yourself?
I can. My name is Ralf Franke. I'm Executive Vice President and Head of Global EHS. So I'm, from a professional point of view, I'm a medical doctor, and I'm also a safety specialist and did an MBA. And I'm taking care of more than 300,000 people at Siemens. And we are busy in almost every country in the world. Our business is currently automation, factory automation, combined with software, so the so-called IoT, Internet of Things. We have buildings technology, and we have mobility technology, so we're building trains and rail tracks and these kind of things.
Thank you. And the next one speaking is the Novo Nordisk team, I would call you.
Yes, Team Novo Nordisk. My name is Thomas Heilsgaard Hansen, and I am heading up the health team, our global team supporting the organization globally. We are a DK headquartered global pharmaceutical company. So today I'm so lucky to have two colleagues from Japan with me. Would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Thomas. So my name is Masako Noguchi. I work for Novo Nordisk Japan as a Senior Employee Experience Relations Manager in HR. And I am looking forward to for this opportunity. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kanako Nihei. I am from Koriyama Factory, Novo Nordisk in Japan. And I came here from Fukushima Prefecture, which is northern part of Japan. And I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last one to speak is Bonnie Yao from Hong Kong.
Hello, this is Bonnie from Hong Kong. I'm the Executive Director of the Hong Kong Occupational Safety and Health Council. Our council is statutory body. How to say is that the government established us using a law, but we are not part of the government department. But at the same time, we are not a private company. So I think I'm the odd person out here, but still, I think that we have a common goal of promoting occupational safety and health in the work and well-being in the workplace. And I'm happy to be here, and we are a little bit anxious because in Hong Kong is not being hit by a typhoon, and we are still hoping that we will have a safe flight home tomorrow. So, otherwise, we will be staying in Japan for another day.
Having some more good Japanese food. Okay, you have each one presentation, and after that, we'll be asked, talking about these questions. So hopefully we get to the panel discussion, and at the end, we'll have discussion about these questions. But let's start. Pernille?
Yeah.
Great. Do you want me? Yeah. Pernille, this one is yours.
That's me. So, yeah. Maybe the light a little bit dim. Yeah. A little bit light. Yeah. Okay, so I have 15 minutes to tell you about... No? Okay. So...
Technical problem.
Sorry about that, guys. I couldn't see that from here. Yeah.
Perfect.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So, what I want to tell you about is the Vision Zero mindset. Many of you know about this mindset, but just briefly, it is a mindset of prevention, where we can work with safety, health, and well-being. And this mindset has been developed by the International Social Security Association. And I have made some links in the material so that you can study more if you would like to implement some of these thoughts in your own companies and organizations. All material that I show you is free to download for everyone. So, in order to, connect safety, health, and well-being even more with business performance, we are discussing how can we show that well-being is an essential part of a business productivity, but also part of the innovation, part of the efficiency, and all the other agendas that we have in the companies. But in order to really relate safety, health, and well-being with the business performance, we need first to understand that safety, health, and well-being are interrelated. We cannot talk about the one without talking about the other. I'm sure you know this, that if we have teams where we have problems with collaboration, teams where we have problems with tone of voice, for example, or we even have harassment and bullying, of course this will affect the safety culture. Of course this will affect the productivity. The other way around, if we have a good safety culture, that will also affect the well-being of people. So we cannot separate the three, safety, health, and well-being. We need to look at them as a whole. So this guide will give you some examples on how to work with this. Also, the guide offers a systematic approach to working with the psychosocial working environment. In safety, we are very good at policies, procedures, management systems, all this. But when it comes to working with the psychosocial working environment, sometimes we do not use the good structures that we have, and we do not work with it in a systematic approach as we do with safety. So what we have tried with this guide is to use some of the terminology and some of the processes that we use for safety to make them also apply to well-being and the psychosocial working environment. Finally, this tool offers tools. How do we do it? And especially, how do we work with prevention? A lot of companies are still very reactive when it comes to the psychosocial working environment. For example, if we have stress incidents, if we have conflicts and so on, we deal with them when they happen. But like with safety measures, we should work on a higher prevention level when it comes to the psychosocial working environments. This is an example of one of the tools that are in this guide. This is called the maturity scale model. This is a tool that you can use for dialogues, but it's also a tool that you can use in quantitative surveys. We do that for a lot of our clients. And this is a tool where we essentially start discussing what is actually the prevention level in your company on well-being. We ask managers and employees about this, not the HR department and not the us professionals. We ask the people, how do you see it? And briefly to go through it, at the lowest level, the passive level, this is organizations where well-being is not a priority. We don't talk about it, we don't have specific plans for it. We might have for safety, but not for the psychosocial working environment. At the reactive level, where many companies are, this is where we do something about mental health issues, stress and so on, after they have occurred. So we offer the help of doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists and so on, but it's not preventive in nature. If we move to the active level, these are companies that say we prioritize well-being. Often companies say people first, or we have a human-centered approach. But if we ask the people on the floor, they do not always agree. So this could be a company strategy, but in real life, maybe the picture is different. So it's companies that want this, but it's more words than action. And then at the proactive level, we have, the word says itself, this is prevention. This is where prevention of mental problems, of team problems and so on, are dealt with before they occur. And finally, at the highest level, this is companies where safety, health and well-being is an integrated part of the business strategy, because we want to attract and retain the best employees, because we have dialogues with our investors that this is an important area, so that safety, health and well-being is seen as important as other business priorities. So we can have discussions. When we do this in quantitative surveys, we always see that employees score companies higher on safety, lower on health, and lowest on well-being. In order to move up, if you want to work with this in the companies to have a higher prevention level, then we can use, many of you already know these, the 7 golden rules of the Vision Zero approach. So what we have done in the guide is that we have translated these rules to apply to well-being as well. So just briefly to go through them. First rule, of course, we need the commitment in the management, different management levels, to well-being. We need them to understand why is this important from a business perspective, of course also from an ethical perspective, but we also need commitment to the well-being of the managers themselves. So it's the managers of the companies and of course the employees. We need to perform well-being risk assessments. For example, when we do an organizational change, we need to assess what does this organizational change mean to, for example, collaboration, workload in different departments, and so on. So it's a risk assessment in the same way that we do risk assessments for safety. We need to have leading indicators on well-being as well. So, lagging indicator, that is, for example, 0 accidents. Leading indicators are more indicators where we measure the right behavior that we would like to have in the organization, or that the right policies and procedures are actually done in real life also. And you will see some examples of leading indicators. We need a good system for well-being. By that we mean an ethical framework, you could call it, that if you as an employee feel stressed, have problems, do you know where to go? Do you know who to talk to? If you are a manager and you have problems with your teams, do you know who to talk on this matter? We need also, when in procurement, when we buy new machines, new IT systems, new tools, we need already to think prevention. For example, if we implement a new IT system, we need to do well-being risk assessments also already at this stage. What does it mean that we implement this new IT system for the managers and the employees? We need, and that's the 6th rule, to really educate our managers and employees on how to talk about psychosocial themes. We have many very good, very professional managers, but they have no education within this field. So how do you as a manager talk to your employees? How do you create what we call psychological safety, that there should be an honest discussion about issues in the department? We cannot anticipate that managers know how to do this, so we need to educate them. And finally, the employee involvement is of course really important when it comes to this. We need to have the employees speak up about how do they feel, can they see the purpose of what they are doing, how can we collaborate in better ways, and so on, because the employees are the experts. The guide provides different tools and inspiration to work with this. So this is just an example of, let me see if I can just go back. You remember this one I showed you here? If you do that as a quantitative survey, you can get this overview, and I will just explain to you. Here we have asked the employees and the managers of the companies on each of the 7 golden rules, where is your prevention level? So it's the stairs I showed you before, but for each 7 golden rule. So what you get here is a total map on the level of prevention in the company based on the employee and manager feedback. So, for example, the number you see in the middle is the average. So if we take, for example, the top left corner, it says 3.2. That means that the employees of this company in general think that the prevention level is around 3. And 3 is the 3rd step, so that's the active level. So what this can be used for is to see how do we perform on each 7 golden rule in a company, and what is the difference between how the employees see it and how the managers see it. As you can see, there are more green squares with the senior leadership team, and we see this a lot, that when we ask the senior leadership team, they answer more positively on prevention levels in the company than the managers and the supervisors, and the employees are mostly not as positive. And this is natural, I think. But if we want to have a culture in the company, we cannot have too large differences on this. We need to get closer and have dialogues. Why do you not answer in the same way? Also, you can see, if you look at it horizontally, that this company, they would like to work with the rule number 4 and the rule number 6, because this is where the lowest scores are. This is a way to work with prevention on well-being in a more quantitative way. You could call it a gap analysis also on the 7 golden rules. So, just an example on proactive leading indicators. How can you have KPIs that tell you something about prevention on well-being on the psychosocial working environment? Well, first of all, you could have just a simple KPI where you can measure how many meetings do include well-being as a topic. And it can be small things. It can just be, do we talk about collaboration, for example? If we have a project, we have to work together. How is the collaboration between the team members? How is the work distributed in the team? Maybe we don't call this well-being, but it is well-being. So it's a way of starting. I work with one company, and they just wanted to start at this level, actually to find out how many times do we talk about well-being in meetings per manager, for example. If you are more advanced, you can measure what is then the outcome of these meetings, right? But we can start with just the frequency of it. Or number 2, another KPI could be how many times do we do risk assessments when we do organizational changes? How many times do we do risk assessments on well-being when we do this? Or it could be when we have startup meetings in the production side, do we have themes of well-being included? How often does that happen? Does it happen more often for one part of the factory than another part of the factory? So you see there are many examples, but what defines in this case a leading indicators is that we measure on the behavior we would like to see happening in the organization and not just on the 0 accidents. Yeah, so if you are inspired by this Vision Zero mindset, you can read more about it. And if you want to start working with this mindset on well-being, what you could consider is to include some questions about this maturity scale model that I saw. And I can give you an example. It doesn't cost you anything. I can show you. You can also see it in the Vision Zero guide on what questions can we include in our employee surveys. Some companies, they do a gap analysis on the Vision Zero 7 golden rules, going through the rules on well-being and seeing where do we perform well and where can we do better. And then finally, of course, the education and the training of managers and employees in well-being. And small steps are good, right? We don't have to start, on the highest level. But start with themes that you are already discussing in the companies. As I said, that could be collaboration, that could be distribution of work tasks and things like this. And if you want to get inspired, please book a meeting with me. We can do an online meeting and you can get that for free so we can discuss that. Also, we have a free Vision Zero newsletter that we send out 4 times a year. So please feel free to book for that one.
Thank you, Pernille. I think you should give it a hand. And the next one is you, Ralf. The stage is yours.
Here we go. Yeah, hello. I will guide you through the journey of, let's say, the positioning of mental well-being at Siemens. I started in 2009. I was hired by a managing board member to set up EHS from the scratch. So there was nothing there at this time. And I started, so I always say the first tsunami I had was safety, safety, safety. And then over the years also well-being, mental well-being came across. And at the beginning I was facing and confronted with statements like, at Siemens we do not have psycho, and if somebody has psycho should go to the doctor. So these kind of comments. And what I did at the first step was that we said we need to get this topic out of the dirty corner. And we called it Breaking the Silence. And we did a lot of informational campaigns to tell the people what it's all about, mental well-being, mental disorders, what is depression and these kind of things. But also we used, or we asked top leaders to talk about their personal, let's say, wisdom or the personal experience around mental disorders. So, for instance, one of our country CEOs talked about his personal burnout and how he came into the burnout, how he came out of the burnout, and what he did to cope with that. And that was really a strong message, because people say, our leaders have the same problems or almost similar problems, and they are also only human beings. And that engaged the discussion so that it was somehow allowed to talk about the topic, that employees dared to talk about it, that leaders dared to address it. And one element was also that we created e-learning for leaders, so just a gamified training. It was a computer game where leaders had virtual personas as employees, and there were daily situations there, and they were confronted with that, and then they had to react on certain behaviors of their employees. And then at the end of the day, they got a feedback whether it went well or not. Yeah, so this was pretty good, and because it was, they could decide when to do it, and doing this via a game was also more attractive than maybe an in-house seminar. The next step was then when we created this awareness, we went to action. And the first step was, and I used the fact that in more than 30 countries, it was a legal requirement to assess the risk on psychosocial and mental aspects in the workplace. And here we developed the so-called psychosocial risk management, and we included 13 questions into our global engagement survey. And we used already existing questions also, so to get a comprehensive overview about all the work-related psychosocial risks. And now we have 100% coverage of this risk management process. And the process we set up was to identify the risk, assess the risk, then to act on it, to document the measures, and to control the efficiency and effectivity of the measure, so to have a kind of PDCA circle here around. Next step was that we added employee assistance programs, so to speak, with the awareness campaign and also with the psychosocial risk management process. This is more or less a preventive approach, but what can we offer if somebody has already problems? And here in Germany, for instance, we have psychologists. We have around 40 psychologists working for us, permanently employed, but not in all the countries. And here I got the idea to say we want to grant access to all our employees to employees assistance programs. And here we defined the standard, the quality standards for employee assistance programs, set a target, and this year we achieved the target of 100% coverage, so that 100% of our employees have access to an employee assistance program. Then the question is how to keep it sustainable. Yeah? And here on a consistent and sustainable and continuing approach, we try to keep our people somehow engaged in the topic. And here we use, for instance, the World Mental Health Day with a certain topic. We engage all our employees and leaders in that. And last year, the topic was making time for mental health. And there was a huge campaign around that topic, and that keeps the topic somehow running and in the minds of our people. Finally, our approach is now to say, okay, we prevent. So we have systematic and aligned processes in place. We promote mental well-being, so raising awareness, build competences around that, and reduce the stigma. And when it's somehow too late, we also support our people, and we try to strengthen their resilience and well-being, and to provide early support. I'll give you an example. In Germany, for instance, we have our social counselors, we call them, the psychologists. And here we grant access to psychotherapy in 1 week. So usually in Germany, when you want to have an appointment at a therapist, you need to wait 6 months. and we grant access to a psychotherapist in 1 week. Now the problem is how to measure well-being, as you said, and here we got aware of a score, the so-called work well-being score, which was developed by Professor Jan de Nijve from the Oxford University, and he did also a lot of research around that, and he could prove that the higher the work well-being score, the higher the productivity is, the higher the retention is, the higher the employer branding is, and the higher the financial success of a company is. How he did that, for instance, productivity, he did a study together with British Telecom, and 10,000 people of call centers took part, and they measured the correlation of the work well-being score and the amount of contracts they did per week. And you could see that the higher the work well-being score, the more contracts they made, and so that is kind of an example how to measure the productivity here. And also in our company, we could see, because we have one question in our engagement survey, do you intend to leave Siemens? Is one question. And you can see if the score is above 80, the answer is 0. So you can see that it also correlates with the retention. And on the other side, what is interesting here is it's only 4 questions, not a huge set of questions. One question is around job satisfaction. The next one is around job happiness. Then the purpose. And finally, stress at work. And out of these questions, we form the score. And the score only tells you how people are feeling at work, not why they are feeling like this. And then you have certain drivers behind, which somehow create this feeling. And all these drivers are more or less HR-driven drivers. One is health and safety, yes, but mainly it's also personal growth and development. It's around leadership and collaboration in teams. It's around fair pay. It's also around inclusion and belonging. And it's also about working times and flexibility, so home office versus office times. And these kind of drivers, they need to be, let's say, identified and discussed in the teams. So it's not that we start now measures on a global level or on a country level, rather than to see where do we have red flags in teams struggling with the work well-being topic, and then to offer a supportive process how to identify the causes and how to develop then the respective measures. And that is simply, we call it Healthy and Safe at Siemens program. So we start with a reality check. So we collect all the available data and KPIs around the topic, not only health and safety data, but also productivity data and HR data and these kind of things. We conduct interviews with leaders, with employees, and then we sit together, leaders and the teams, and discuss why is it like it is and what can we do to improve. So because the employees are the specialists and experts of their working environment, and we need to include them. And finally, we set now a target in our sustainability framework. We call it DEGREE. DEGREE stands for decarbonization, ethics, governance, resource efficiency, equity, and employability. And under the category of employability, we set now the target that we would like to maintain a score above 80. And that is the expression that we are all committed on that topic, and that pushes the topic through the entire organization, and nobody can say, I'm not in. So therefore, this is really a great mean to make all the people, let's say, aware and committed to the well-being topic. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to say to you that it sounds like I can hear that you've been working with this for a long time. It's ambitious, and I'm sure that people benefit from it. But what I like is that the things you did is also accessible for smaller companies, because it's like you have 4 questions. You can easily ask that in a small company as well. So the things you do look like a huge, thing to do, but you can scale it down, I guess. Yes.
Yes. It's very simple,
yes.
And the material is available in the intranet, Work Wellbeing Score, and Professor Jan de Neve, he set up also a Work Wellbeing movement where companies and associations come together to develop that further. And so Unilever, Lego, these kind of companies are already in. We are with the World Economic Forum working on that. So it's step by step. It creates a global movement because it's really so easy. It's scientifically proven. So this was the easiest thing to explain it to my managing board, because, like I said, it's scientifically proven that the better we are here, the more productive we are, and the better we are performing on the financial market. So, yes, we do it. Yeah.
Thank you. And the next one speaking is the Novo Nordisk team, and we'll start out with the Thomas-san.
Thank you so much. So let's see. Oops, sorry. Here we go. So, as I started by saying, I'm so lucky to be joined by a local colleague today, and our talk today is called Wellbeing in Novo Nordisk, from organizational to local approach. So trying to define, I guess, some of you have tried to either be a corporate function that need, and Ralph also said that, when you have to push out something, it's not always easy, and especially if you have to do it in a global company across different cultures. So that's what we wanted to do with this presentation today, to actually say, okay, we might have some ambition for corporate. How is that interpreted when it get out into local context? So I hope we can give you some quick views into that. So first, for those of you who do not know Novo Nordisk, we are a global healthcare pharmaceutical company present in many parts of the world, around little less than 80,000 employees. And we are big within diabetes. We are moving into and driving the new obesity area, also in cardiovascular and emerging therapy areas. And we are also present in rare diseases. So our purpose is to drive change, to defeat serious chronic diseases in general. And we have been in this field since 1923. So an old established company. So how do we do it then? Well, first of all, we start by acknowledging that there is a thing called workplace stress. It's not all companies who does that, and the reason why is to say we do not think and we do not believe that the individual themselves are capable of actually solving it if they have stress. We see examples where people are giving tools, they will receive an app. We have employee assistance programs too, of course, but many times this has something to do with how work is organized. So that you cannot solve by yourself. That needs to be solved together in the workplace. And that's why we start acknowledging that we have a responsibility as a company. Then we want there to be an open and honest team dialogue. We want to build some awareness and have the team collaborate on this. Then, of course, we have employee surveys as well, where we try to identify the risks. what are these psychosocial risks, and we provide like a risk assessment for all teams globally, and then we want them to work with it. So we want them to take appropriate action, address what needs to be addressed, and we use an approach called the EXPO model, so individual, group, leaders, and organization, and we want them to set hopefully ambitious but also simple targets on all these levels, and that will bring us forward. So our deliveries as a global center of excellence is that we try to inspire. We make a lot of tools that it's easy for people to use across the globe, so they are available in local languages. We enable people by providing this very structured process that also has the attention of executive management. So this is something that's being followed up every single year, lots of attention. And finally, we engage. And again, going back to some of the stuff Pernille presented, you can say that is reactive, but we try to say that it's pro-reactive. We go out and try to lift from the bottom in that sense. And then the good question is, does that work? Well, yes. Our impact throughout the globe with my small 5-person team of organizational psychologists is that for the high-scoring teams, we actually managed to move them from a combined score of 20% and down to 16% from last year to this year for the highest scoring teams. And that's those teams together are covering around 7,000 employees. So this really has an impact. And that's, of course, the impact I would like to show and share with you guys today. And that's why I invited my good colleagues to come here and present with me. So Masako-san, I would start by inviting you up and sharing.
Thank you. Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Masako Noguchi. I am ER manager at Novo Nordisk Japan, and basically my role is that being a bridge between employees and the company, and fostering psychologically safe environment that support mental well-being and drive sustainable business success. And at Novo Nordisk Japan, we have 1,200 employees across Japan. And first, like Thomas mentioned, we have a global survey called Evolve. And in Japan, we take that survey very seriously. And then from leadership to individuals, employees, based on the survey findings, we conduct the additional survey to drive deep emerged issues from the Evolve survey and develop concrete action plans and follow through those actions. And that is a very important initiative globally and locally. And the second, I would like to mention that Japan has a legal requirement to conduct annual stress check. So we use this opportunity, the stress check opportunity, not only to comply to the government rule, but to analyze the result in detail. And then we have a company doctor, company nurse, and EAP available 24/7 in Japan. So we utilize them to follow up those stress check scores. And the third, every May, we also participate, the local Novo Nordisk participate in the Global Novo Health Week. Thank you. So in Japan, we tailor this initiative with authentic Japanese original programs. For example, in last year, we introduced online sitting yoga sessions. scheduled to accommodate diverse working styles. And in 2024, this year, we delivered daily health video contents throughout the week, and further reinforcing our commitment to employee well-being. And fourth, another unique initiative in Novo Nordisk Japan is we have employee association, and known as Shinkai. And all employees belong to this association. This group organizes over 100 club activities and operates a suggestion box by themselves to deliver employee voices to the leadership, and even organize support employee friendship trips called Shain Ryoko. So such activities once a hallmark of traditional Japanese corporate culture. But these days, past decades, Japan has changed, and we did not see this kind of activities any longer. But we keep this very important initiative at Japan Novo Nordisk. And lastly, the program called Facilitation. This is a global initiative, and the global facilitation team come to Japan, and then they conduct interviews over 100 employees. And their result, along with the global survey and the stress check, being utilized to create the good culture for employees in Japan. So at Novo Nordisk Japan, we believe that employee well-being is not a one-time effort. That's a continuous journey. Thank you.
Can I just ask you before you step down?
Yes.
What is included in the stress check? What is that?
So stress check is that we use the vendor company. There is like a very thorough anonymous survey, and focusing on their stress levels. And it is not mandatory to answer those survey, yet it is Japanese government law that the company conduct this stress check. And so the actually that's the first one of this slide. We are the Novo Nordisk Japan has been selected as the best working environment organization, certified the Dr. Trust, the vendor. So last 3 years. So that's something that we are proud of. We would like to continue the effort. And also we are selected Japan Novo Nordisk as a health and productivity management outstanding organization, and also a great place to work. Thank you.
That's impressive. Mm-hmm.
So I know that time is running out, but okay. So before I close my part, I like to share a little bit my personal journey, if I may. And so I actually joined Novo Nordisk this April. So this is 4 months in, and I am the new kids on the block, in a sense. And before coming here, I spent my career about 30 years in global tech retail giants company. So when I first heard this company, Novo Nordisk, and I heard about all the employee trips and the club activities. To be honest, I was stunned. This is like ancient engagement thing. That's how I felt at the beginning. But Then I joined the company and I saw the joyful energy and energetic voices from those club reports and sincere support from the company's president, local company president, and the top executives. And I slowly understand, I began to realize that this is very important initiatives. And these old school practices are actually, I think now, the timeless, and they build real connections. They create warmth. They remind us that work isn't just about tasks or KPIs, and it's about people. And I am very happy joining Novo Nordisk Japan, and I would like to pass my mic to Kanako-san. She is Health and Safety Partner at KFA, our proud factory at Koriyama City. Thank you. Kanako-san.
Hello, my name is Kanako, and I am from Koriyama factory located in Fukushima area, where is north part of Japan. And today I would like to show some. Yes, this one. Sorry. Sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I would like to show present about our initiative about the Koriyama factory and how we achieve mental well-being initiative. And Koriyama factory is only Novo Nordisk factory in Japan providing all Novo Nordisk product to Japanese patient. And we have around 150 employees in Koriyama factory. And also, so we are the only product site in Japan. And I believe that the most important thing is for patient to receive our product by people who are happy both physically and mentally. So that's why we are really focusing on not only product quality, but mental well-being quality as well. And as Thomas-san explained, we are working on mental well-being systematically. So first of all, like Koriyama factory management team take ownership of mental well-being initiative. We find out from the result, we do some like systematic problem solving, and I'm sorry, and we use systematic problem solving function to find out the root cause, what is the root cause of our mental well-being. And those are some like action we took from the management team, take ownership of those activities. First of all, like providing talking session seminars for paternity leave. And also we have lots of team building activities. Also, we have lots of communication lunch session. In Japan, we are not speaking up culture. We are brought up not speaking culture. In my childhood, my teacher always not to speak up, but be silent in Japanese culture. In that way, we have a difficulty speaking up. But my managers try us to speak up a lot. In that way, I think we reduce the number of leaving company. So we are my management team is providing lots of chance to speak up, for us to speak up, not only the working time, but other time. So you can see like, rewards, food, club, sports activities, those kind of activities providing us to speak up more. And this is really interesting action we took, initiative we took. This is from the production area, daily board meeting. This is monitoring well-being in production. We set a board, and the vertical line is mental, and horizontal line is physical, and our employee put the magnets, which emotion we are right now every day. And if employee put something magnet in here, then manager take a one-on-one meeting immediately, and he or she, my manager, think like they need to take then manager take action proactively. So in that way, this will give us to speak up more easily. Parental talk and also speak up workshop is provided. So they are trying us to speak up more. That's great. And also this is our achievement. We have lots of awards we received from government. And also we have a zero accident with absent for almost 3,700 days. It's absent, with absent.
Oh, thank you.
And this is all my presentation. So I hope you can see our Novo Nordisk is giving us, is cascading the system even to production area.
Thank you so much.
you very
That was inspiring. Thank you for coming, all three of you. This was an interesting speak, and you have the possibility to ask questions afterwards. Because the last one we want to hear from is you, Bonnie, and you're next. Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. We are honored to be here and to be share with you some of the work that Occupational Safety and Health Council have been doing in Hong Kong. But I think I missed something when I did my self-introduction, is that we have a mission to promote occupational safety and health in Hong Kong, and so we run many programs. What I would for the coming 40 minutes, I think, I will be sharing with you some of the programs that we have been doing. But first of all, according to the WHO, actually 1 in every 8 person does have a mental health condition. But in Hong Kong, we are doing even more worse, or I don't know, because 1 in every 7 adults is affected by mental health illness issues. And the most common mental health problems in Hong Kong would be depression and anxiety. And the worrying thing is that we think it may be getting worse, because you could see that from 2014 and 15, it's still under 1%, and now it's more than 1%. But we have been talking to some academics, and they said that it may not be that actually the mental health problem has been worsened, but in fact, people are getting easier. They feel more comfortable in getting out and saying that I've got a problem. That's why the reported case increased. And if that is the case, we think that it is a very positive trend. And we did a survey in 2022 among using telephone and online questionnaire with anonymous result. A little bit alarming is that 55% of the companies are without any well-being and mental health program in their company. And when we asked the employees what would they like to have, they said that they would like to have a training on mental health, like stress management, relaxation technique, as well as counseling program. In Hong Kong, most of the companies would provide free or medication support. Like if you fell ill, then it would be a subsidized program for you to get to consult a doctor, a physician, but mostly, usually only for the physical, you got a call or something. But most of the time, it's not for the mental health issues. So I think that Siemens is doing a great job. It's not they are not only providing the support, but they guarantee that it's within a very short time. Because actually, time I think is of essence. So I think that I gave them a big applause. It's just for this. So the result, of course, reflect that we need to do more. So what the council has been doing is that first we empower the companies through charters and signing charters saying that okay, we commit to do this, and with free activities we support them because many SMEs they do not have the resources to do this. That's why we provide free workshops. I will talk about a little bit about what kind of workshops they are. But I must say that many of the examples, Novo, Nordisk, they mentioned are actually the free workshops that we have been providing. The second thing is that we encourage the enterprise to make investment because especially when the company are making money, we try to talk them into saying that if you invest more, I think that the result shows that the results from the two enterprises that just did the sharing tell us that if you invest $1 in mental health and well-being, actually the investment actually will come back. And it will show even better results. And then we set gold standards. We have a competition such that those who are doing very well, they will be sharing with others such that others can copy from them. The two charters that I mentioned, one is we call Joyful at Healthy Workplace, and the other is actually a mental health workplace charter. So the workshops, so far we did a calculation for the past 5 years, more than 22,000 participants from SMEs and shops have been doing this. And you can see that it's a very simple thing like singing bowl section, laughter yoga, herbal tea, dog therapy. Dogs are actually but this is a bit difficult because for the premises, they have to get permission to have dogs getting into. Of course, for Siemens, it's simple because it's your own building. But if we are talking about, office buildings, it may not be that easy. And of course, we have horticulture therapy, acupuncture, massages, and all that. And we also help them with some simple poster like this, Stop. Stop actually is help you to do a very simple breathing exercise and some mindfulness practice. This part is my favorite. We also have relaxation exercise. Because the free workshop, we have coach going to the companies during lunchtime such that, they gather the employees to their meeting room. And one of the relaxation exercise, my coaches told me that they always hear the snoring. They get relaxed during lunchtime, and then they can really get some sleep. And of course, yoga class, centennial drawing, and all that. And the other thing is that we find that stress can come from your physical problem, like chronic pain on your neck or on your back. And then we have I think it's chiro. I cannot pronounce that word. Yes, they would go to the company and tell them how to do some simple exercise for chronic pain relief. And the other thing is that I have bring along some of the board games because Chinese, we do not speak up. Yes, speak up. It's like Japanese. They don't speak up, but we have to have an atmosphere that people can be talking to each other. So we train them for these board games. We give them free of charge of these board games, and then how to say that? We try to make people can. I'm not sure. Do people around here play this? No. This is Rummy Cup. I think Rummy Cup is more for the youngsters because it's a very quick reaction brain drawing game. And the others is a more static style, the life game, the game of life. And this is, you can talk about your life adventure, your sadness, your regrets, and all that. So we have this. So we open their mouth such that they would talk about it. And it's actually a very good team building. So we have this kind of workshops. And but we want to extend our outreach. We have webinars, and webinars we talk about depression and anxiety, quality sleep. Sleep is one of the focus that we are having in recent years, and of course musculoskeletal disorders and pain again. And I have a story that, but we want people to. We know that if you got a problem like you have depression or you have got anxiety disorder, you don't want to talk about this in your workplace. But if you don't talk about this, actually there would be a very bad silo, and then it would get worse. We come across a company who is actually a traditional Chinese tribal tea company, and the CEO get a story, and because the story was so good that we did a seminar on this, such that more companies could follow suit. What the company did is that the senior managers and the CEO would have regular they call it like town halls, such that they can talk to the average employees, and then they share the experience. Once the senior manager said that he's got depression, and then showing them that it's not a sign of weakness but a sign of strength. You have the courage to talk about that. And another case is that they get a family member got a cancer, so it's very, very hard for them to say. But when they said it, people come to have comfort them and then show support. And then the most important thing is that the employees know that, it's okay. Even the top managers got this problem. So if I got this problem, I should take the courage and tell people. And this, they actually got a very, through this time, actually it's a very team building, and they got support. Not only from the family, it's sometimes the family could not give them the kind of support. You cannot speak. Anywhere you cannot speak, but in the companies, they can do this. And we also provide one-on-one consultation. We got experts in the field how to do it, roll your programs out in the company, and talk to the HR people or talk to the managers. If this is a small company, only the managers could do that. And before that, there would be an employee survey, and then the one-on-one consultation, and tailor-make some program for them to do. And then the expert will do a follow-up 6 months later to help them to roll out this simple program because they lack the resources to do this. And we have other support, like we have free mental first aid course for companies to sign up. And we have social media, Facebooks, and all that. But I said that we want to set the goal target. How to do this is with the award. I just noticed that Novo Nordisk got an award from the Japan government, and we did something similar. With the secretary will come to present the prize, and such that. But more importantly, we have a sharing section before the prize presentation, such as other companies could learn from them. They can do this, and I will show you. I will show you how they copy each other. But you could see that the grand award is for companies doing very good, and it shows that there is a significant improvement in companies achieving better results because of the sharing. So what did they share? In 2020s, one of the companies said that, we got a limited subsidy for all the colleagues to engage in sports facility. They can, because joining a club in Hong Kong is not inexpensive, but the company will sponsor you. And granting extra leaves like caretakers leave, all kinds of leaves. Because of this, 3 years later, I think more than 50%, my colleagues said that, in the old days, if you're doing okay, you would get the gold award. But now if you want to get the, higher ranking award, if you don't have many leaves, like this actually is the many leaves is you can get 23 days of extra leaves. Because of this, you got graduation leave, marriage, anniversary leave, and whatnot. And this is actually a Japanese company, the Fuji Xerox. It's like Xerox, but the Fuji photocopying. And nowadays, SME or non-SME enterprises, if you don't get a sports support, you can't get into my award. Because it's so high-hands competition. And we also have, they would also run things like sign languages and like this. And like this, because in Hong Kong, ethnic minorities sometimes they cannot get into because we are mostly Chinese. And one of the SMEs, they do with a diverse ethnic background. They did a World Culture Day, regular team activities, of course the pet friendly, because then they help the ethnic minorities to blend with the local people. And the relaxation exercise, we have also got a massage, a sleep room, as well as actually we got one of the companies which get our grant award, got a sleeping analysis, a sleeping test and program. That is sleep support from the from university in Hong Kong. Okay, I have to get break. And the EAP is I think I noticed that Siemens and Novo Nordisk also get it, but in Hong Kong it's actually not very common. Now we have got the EAP because the awardees all would have EAP. And people tell me that the EAP is not only that they call to talk about their stresses and all that. It's sometimes in Hong Kong it's very alienated. My son got a problem, I don't know how to deal with it. They call the counseling, and the counselor told us that we've got all sorts of questions. Where to buy some very difficult to solve things, they also call but then it's actually a relief to have someone to be able to be there to help. And another practice is that we all know that volunteering work could boost your very good, your joy and your happiness. And the companies would provide a day off. You come to do volunteering work, that would be count as a working day, plus you would give an extra day off because you do the volunteer work. So actually we asked them to do the effectiveness because we want to breed this positive behavior, and then we've got higher retention, lower absenteeism, and all this. So we are trying to do this to encourage other companies to follow suit. So I think that if we work together to build a mental health friendly and inclusive work environment, what Siemens have been doing and what Novo Nordisk and many great companies have been doing, we can create a better, happier workplace. And I think that as they have shared, productivity will go up and we have a happier workplace for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. It is so inspiring to hear all these different examples of what you do, and I can tell you it's very different what you do in one end of the world and in the other end of the world. So thank you for that. Now it's time for questions. If any of you have questions for any of the panelists, not penalties, but panelists, let's call them that. So do you have any questions? Otherwise, I have a few. I'll just go to the other. What should we start by giving them a big applause, all of them. So I have 4 questions that I would like to ask, actually to all of you, but also just start with one. So the first one is for you, Ralf. Yeah, it's late in the afternoon. Is it difficult to overcome obstacles like prioritizing well-being and programs at a company level for you? And what did you do? Because your journey has been a long journey. And it seems to me like you took one step at the time. And it seems like simple steps, but I know it's not always simple when you're a huge organization who needs to agree on these things. So do you have anything to say about that?
Hello? Yeah, now it works. Yeah, do you have 2 hours or so? No.
Just a few minutes.
No, but honestly, it was not easy. I mean, at the beginning, as I said, a lot of resistance around the topic, and even when it became a legal requirement, I had so many resistance, especially from the HR department. So you cannot ask the people how they feel, because then you get a lot of answers. Yeah, and what shall we do then? Yeah, so this was the mindset at those days, and I can give you one advice: continue. And I developed the so-called submarine strategy. Yeah, so I just dived under the first surface. Yeah, and we continued to develop our psychosocial risk management. Yeah, and at a certain point of time, we came up, and here we are. And one groundbreaking moment was the pandemic, when many managers experienced by themselves mental issues, and asking for help. Also were somehow overwhelmed with the mental issues of their employees, how to deal with that remotely. Yeah, exactly. And that triggered a lot, and helped us a lot. And since those days, it was a little bit easier. But at the beginning, it was hard. I was convinced that we are on the right track, and I was the first German company, DAX-listed company, who set up a department called psychosocial health and mental well-being. And I was the first one in Germany who hired a psychologist, and we started with this kind of stigma campaign, to get it out of the dirty corner. This was the first step. And then in the course of the legal requirement, I said, okay, in 30 countries, it's a legal requirement. And now HR, you have the choice. Either we add these questions into the global survey, or we do an extra survey in all of these 30 countries. Oh, yeah. And then this was, let's say, also a convincing argument. Yeah. And so, again, step by step. And the last step with the work well-being score, as a company, we came up, I think, Andresa, it was 4 years ago, with the degree framework. Yeah. And under the category of employability, HR was asking, what kind of target could we set? And the only idea they had was learning hours.
Yeah.
Nothing else, because they have no global KPIs, no targets, nothing. Yeah. And then I came up and said, okay, we do this employee assistance program coverage kind of thing. Yeah, that helps me. And that was, let's say, the first step to make this topic as a global topic and a global target. And now we have the second wave with new targets. And then again, the question was, what can we do? And then we had the idea of the work well-being score and say, okay, I want to drive that topic, I want to push it, and I want to make it a global target so that everyone has to deal with it. And thanks Jan de Neve, he invented that score in November 23, and that was the groundbreaking moment to implement that and to roll it out.
Thank you. So to sum it up, it's just like keep on, dive down, and one step at the time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Great. Thank you. And the next one is for you, the Novo Nordisk team. You know, the thing, because in many of these conferences, we talk about strategies. So what happens when they meet local culture? What is your experience? You have talked very well about it, but have you seen, is it difficult? I mean, there's a long way from Denmark to Japan, and I know Novo Nordisk has places all over the world, so.
And if I should just start, I think it was a great example we got that
yes.
We in Scandinavian are a lot about talking about things and agreeing, and you speak up, say your opinion, and in some extent we are a very Danish company. So when we go out globally, we just push things out and expect people to act the same way as Danish people do. And that's just not the case. So many times if people are really polite, they say yes. And then when we are gone, they do something else, to be honest. And that's actually what we are trying to improve. And how do you do that? To me, it's about dialogue. So it's about saying, okay, what is difficult? It requires some work. And in that sense, it's about the long run, building it, continuing to do it, getting wiser, because we need to learn as well. And then we need to adjust and allow for the individual countries to make local adjustments. Yes. So that's super important. I don't know, any of you, if you have any comments for it?
Well, but I think having common purpose is a great thing.
Yes.
To implement, and also we learn a lot.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we are trying.
Yeah.
And also, I think so. For example, like I use a lot of polite words in Japan, but like Thomas-san. Like I say Thomas-san, but like in Danish, you say Thomas, right? It's very hard to say Thomas.
Yeah.
But I try sometimes. So we are trying each other, and I think we are trying to. So Novo Nordisk is providing chance to try.
Yeah. Thank you.
Something.
Yeah. So it's important to be curious and have respect for the cultures, and just open your mind.
Yeah, and just a final comment. You can say it's you. I still think you need to provide a framework and say this is the process, this is what we do, but then you need to allow for some room to adjust.
Yes.
And then it will still work, and you will get the data from the framework, and you will know. But there can be local adjustments also, like we saw from Bonnie. That was really nice to see. That was very different to what we would do in Denmark, but it works in your context. So that's the meaning of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's always inspiring to hear you, Bonnie, because I get so, I haven't seen it before. Yeah. So the last question we can get today is for you, Bonnie. And is mental illness and well-being a taboo? And if so, how do you work with it? You talked a little bit about it in your presentation, but can you reflect a little bit? Yeah, I think it works. Take Thomas Hans.
Yes. Oh, okay. Of course, I think that it's still, sadly to say, it's still a taboo in Hong Kong. First of all, my discovery is that just having law is not complete, because in Hong Kong we have the disability discrimination ordinance. I think more than 10 years, it's more than some 20 years. We have this disability ordinance, and of course this includes mental health. But I've got many such stories. The employee, actually is the candidates. They try to get into companies, and they said that whenever they because some of the time when you got a mental health problem, you would have gaps in your career. And when they being frank and tell people that, oh, because I got some anxiety disorder, I got problems. Many people come to me and said that they noticed that there are some very minor frowns and all that. And then, of course, they usually wouldn't get a job. And they said that either they try to make up something to explain why they have the gap, but they won't talk about this. I think that this shows that we have a problem there, this gap. And of course, we would still use what we say, as but I don't have many companies who can do the senior management doing the sharing and all that. And I must say I'm very glad to hear what Rolf I pronounce this right? Rolf said about Siemens, because Siemens also got the destigmatization, also this thing. And I think that Siemens had got an office, a very big office in Hong Kong. If they have this positive story, please help me with another big seminars. I think that we need many success stories that people can do it, as well as I think that we have to some job internship, because stop a short period, say when people have mental health illness and they come out, they are ready to tell their potential employers about that. We give them short period. Then people, actually they can work. Their productivity is just the same as normal people that would do. Because why is it that I said this? Is in my organization, we also hire people to help us do things, of course. And we have a fresh graduate. We like her a lot. She has been our part-time, and we tried to hire her. But 1 week later, she resigned. We talked to her just like friend to friend. She said that she also got the anxiety problem. So what we did, because it's good that we know her, so I don't need to convince any managers that you have to go through this. Her productivity is all this, but we offer to give her part-time, such as she can ease things out. Because when they have anxiety problem, even if they can get back to work, some of the time this would become their worries. What if I could not adapt to the new environment and all that. Yeah. So we give them time to ease in. And I hope that, later on we would work with the health department to see how we can do this. We have some companies doing this, yes, but we don't have enough companies doing that. That's why I'm still hearing many sad stories about.
Yeah. But as we said before, one step at a time and just keep going. That's the way forward. Well, yeah, you have a question? Andresa? Oh, I'll just bring you the microphone. Okay.
This is not... It's not safe to jump. So, as you know, I'm responsible for safety and I work pretty close, and I have also the responsibility for the health strategies. We collaborate a lot. It's like come together more and more. I would like to hear from your experience, because we have been discussed. For me, well-being is not only about mental part, and I think a lot of people silo this in this box is mental. For me, well-being goes to, of course, physical health, mental health, but we have other drivers, yeah? And one element that I would like to discuss, because I'm discussing this internally, is how do we evaluate, there are some incidents that happen in our company that you cannot get a proper answer. And I'm talking to the people, how do we evaluate this psychosocial, psychological, or the well-being, or the I would say absence of a well-being in the analysis of the incidents? Anybody has experience here that could share? Because it's another perspective to look.
So just to ensure I'm understanding correct, so you mean in regards to accident investigation or incident investigation,
yeah.
How do we relate that to the psychosocial factors? Or
if you include the aspects of the psychosocial factors, yes, in the incident analysis?
First of all, I would say if you do a thorough incident investigation, really systematic, then you should include it, and again, addressing it through dialogue. But we would at least encourage that you look at the department's data from our surveys. So there you will gain some insights. And then just adding to your question about should it only be mental well-being? No, it should also be physical well-being. We do both. So we divide it and say mental well-being, physical well-being, and we actually see that they're highly correlated. No surprise in most cases, but we also see some circumstances where it's only one or the other.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
We do exactly this. We correlate data, we look to data, the contextualization of the data, the workload. So we do this, but it's really hard from the safety people, especially in some locations, to go this step. So we need to motivate people to also look to the data in this complex environment. So we do exactly the same thing, but still, I think sometimes there are taboos there.
I fully agree, and we also do have, if it's a case where an employee feel that something happened to them in terms of mental well-being, we have an ombudsman function where they can call anonymously, and then they will investigate internally, taking all these perspectives into consideration.
Thank you. I think Pernille has one comment. You want the last one?
Yeah, maybe. No, it's just that do we include in the process descriptions we have on how we do risk assessments, do we include questions there? You have that? Or? No, it's just because you correlate data. I get that, but sometimes I think we need to have it more specific in the risk analysis structure of the way we ask.
We do have this in the risk management process. I think it's not the lack of requirement or the data availability. Maybe is again it's about educating people, breaking taboo, and
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think we have to end the nice discussion here. Do you have any more comments, any of you? Otherwise, I'll just say thank you to the panel. And I think, Bonnie, if we can look into your gaming. Yeah, it's in the table here. But thank you all, and have a nice Saturday in Japan. Let's give them all a big hand.